There's no place I'd rather be than on my surfboard out at sea, lingering with my Pikachu. I mean Raichu. Sorry, I forgot you existed a bit. And if I had one wish come true, I'd surf until the sun sets beyond the horizon. Well, that's not actually true at all. I mean, look at me. White and weighty, pale and plump. I haven't touched a surfboard in my life. I'm too busy eating pancakes. And that's right, we're talking about Alolan Raichu. We did a video in 2019 about Alolan Raichu, attempting to explain why it became part psychic type, and in that video, I mentioned that they didn't exactly have a good reason. One with no good reason for being what it is. At least no good canonical one. It's Alolan Raichu. It's got nothing origins. Also, this isn't an Alolan Raichu. Deal with it. Little did I realize at the time, though, that there actually may be a decent canonical reason. And just like the tides, we're rising up to the challenge to find out what that could be today on Noggin. This video is sponsored by Grammarly. Improve your spelling and grammar with my link in the description and get 20% off of Grammarly Premium. Grammarly has been supporting us for a while now, and it's become my favorite Chrome extension and app. It's easy and convenient, and of course, the free version is free. And because of its amazing powers of word formatting and magic, it's no wonder that Grammarly is a favorite among many students, business folk, writers, and more. Although the free version provides suggestions on your basic spelling and grammar, upgrading to Grammarly Premium gives you much more in-depth writing feedback. Grammarly's tone detector detects the tone of your writing to help improve communication even further. Grammarly Premium's vocab suggestions replace different words to avoid overusing the same words. And their clarity suggestions help you with entire sentence restructuring, all to better help you get your points across efficiently, which is a rather important skill to have in the ever-growing online workspace. So get an edge on your writing skills. Join the 30 million users per day that includes us. And when you do, go to grammarly.com/Lockstin with the link down below and get 20% off of Grammarly Premium. In that last video, I focused on how Raichu's diet may have played a role in its Alolan form, since that is just about the only thing that it had going for it. The Pokedex entries at the time were all just, "It eats pancakes, so it got psychic." But since then, Pokemon Sword and Shield came out, and a bit more information was given via its Pokedex entries from Sword specifically. Quote, "It's believed that the weather, climate, and food of the Alola region all play a part in causing Pikachu to evolve into this form of Raichu." You see that? Not a single mention of pancakes! Perhaps the local Alolans just weren't too concerned about it, but Galarians, they are British. They are obsessed with natural history. I mean, Charles Darwin, David Attenborough, the rest of them probably. Historically, the British needed to know the way that all of these things work, and that's reflected in these Pokedex entries, and that's really cool. The Brits were all about natural history. So, to answer the question of why Alolan Raichu becomes part psychic type, we have to begin with the base form, Cantonian Raichu. Now, I say Cantonian because that's just where we first see this Raichu, but really, this just seems to be the default Raichu that's everywhere. But anyway, there are several Pokedex entries that pretty much say the same thing across the generations. Raichu become more aggressive when there is more electricity built up in their bodies. A few of these entries even give specific details as to what happens to Raichu when this occurs. Raichu's Dex entry from Pokemon Gold states that the electricity buildup stimulates its muscles, causing them to become more aggressive than usual. Of course, meaning that this level of aggression isn't normal for Raichu. Raichu's Dex entry from Pokemon Emerald further specifies that too much electricity buildup is what causes this aggression, and both Emerald and Ruby also say how Raichu goes about trying to calm itself down, by discharging that excess energy through its tail primarily into the ground. And this is also stated in its Pokemon Diamond Dex entry. The Pokemon Moon Dex entry for regular Raichu goes a bit further and adds a warning that even its trainers have to be wary of being attacked by Raichu when this happens. Now, all of these Dex entries talk about how Raichu becomes a danger both to other creatures as well as the environment. What with leaving a large scorch mark in the ground from where it discharged its excess electricity, likely similar to the marks left when lightning strikes the ground naturally. However, it isn't until Raichu's Ultra Sun Dex entry that we begin to speculate how this excess energy is actually harmful to Raichu. As electricity builds up inside its body, it becomes more aggressive. One theory is that the electricity buildup is actually causing stress. And there it is. Sure, it states that it's a theory, but considering our current understanding of how stress affects the body and mind, I'd say it's a solid theory. And so, we're going to explore this idea. How are Raichu affected by stress, and how does it relate to this whole Alolan mess? Pancakes! Now, if you're anything like me, I'm sure you already know and are familiar with stress. But for the sake of this video and its runtime, stress is a natural physical and mental reaction to stimuli. Working out at the gym? Well, that's physical stress. Studying for a test? There's some mental stress. Whitney crying after losing a gym battle? Well, that's emotional stress. And like anything else in life, stress is good. In moderation. The problems come when there's too much stress. Now let's put that into the context of a fictional animal with insane electrical powers like Raichu. Just like with any animal, humans included, our brains send electrical signals throughout the body, stimulating all of our parts and giving them function. This is the same for Raichu. And given that it's an electric-type Pokemon, it has the ability to absorb electricity and use it for stimulation. That's potentially one of the reasons why electric-type Pokemon tend to be a lot faster. They're able to send more electrical signals to all of their muscles, making them do more. And we can also safely assume then that electric-type Pokemon are normally able to handle the additional stimulation coming from absorbing electricity. And stress, by the way, is also just the electricity in our bodies doing things. So theoretically then still, electric-type Pokemon can handle more stress than their non-electric counterparts. But they would still have a limit to how much they can handle. And should they exceed that limit, there's still ill effects. Raichu's many dex entries certainly describe some common effects of stress. Too much stimulation in the muscles can cause pain via muscle tension, and electric shocks can usually cause muscle spasms depending on the intensity of the current and the particular muscle it travels through. Raichu's increased aggression can be explained in a few ways, but I do want to point out that we've seen a similar scenario play out in the anime, specifically at the start of the Advanced series, where, after a previous battle with Team Rocket, Pikachu was left feeling ill. Professor Birch was able to diagnose Pikachu as having an electric overload, and Pikachu would later be seen to show the same type of symptoms Raichu are said to have in the games, namely increased aggression and even attacking their own trainers. So far, these all seem to fit the bill. Raichu are constantly being overstimulated by absorbing too much electricity. Sure, they have a way to mitigate the issue, but considering how Pikachu and Raichu are mostly located in forests, that could potentially lead to serious problems like forest fires, and the last I checked, the Kanto region doesn't have a Smokey the Bear equivalent to remind them who prevents these things. But all is not lost, for now that we've identified the cause of the issue, we can begin to connect the dots between the two forms. And going back to the Pokemon Sword dex entry, let's see how weather and climate plays into this change. So, what does weather and climate have to do with it? Well, a lot actually. You see, places with warm temperatures generally tend to help the body feel more relaxed. Heating up the body aids in muscle relaxation and can improve your mood. Raising body temperature could also help with anxiety and stress, which is why some people take hot baths after a long day, or use saunas and hot tubs. So seeing as Alola is based on Hawaii, we can assume it has a comparable climate as well. Hawaii has a mostly tropical climate, meaning that its temperature can range from the high 80s to the mid 60s. But it can certainly vary depending on the island. Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa, for example, are the only places to see snow, which is what Mount Mauna Kea is based on. And have you ever wondered why vacation resorts are located mostly in places like Hawaii, the Bahamas, Florida, and Cancun? Well, this is partly why. Such great weather to spend time in with your family. And it relaxes you more, so you're more likely to spend more money. But there is another reason why Alola would be such an ideal location for a stressed-out Raichu. Each island is surrounded by the ocean. Perfect for surfing, yes, but for Raichu, and by extension Pikachu, it's great for discharging any excess electricity. Since the ocean is made of salt water, it is a great conductor of electricity, so it's relatively safer to discharge into compared to doing so in the middle of a forest, provided of course that there are no nearby people around. Real lightning strikes tend not to penetrate the ocean and instead spread out along the surface, which is why fish are generally safe from lightning storms, but humans swimming along the surface aren't. So with Alola's warmer weather and overall climate helping Raichu's muscles relax more, and its location providing a better method of regulating its electricity, how does this contribute to Alolan Raichu's psychic typing? Well, as mentioned in those Pokedex entries, all of that built-up electricity is what causes Raichu's heightened aggression, meaning that buildup of electricity affects its mind. Now, with Raichu being able to better regulate its body, that would also help clear its mind, and perhaps unlock some hidden psychic potential over many generations, of course. And since it's an island, many generations of interbreeding are happening. But even without all of that, this hidden potential can certainly be seen in the games, as Pikachu naturally learns a few psychic-type moves, like Light Screen, and both it and Raichu can be taught the move Reflect via TM, another psychic-type move. Though, now, some other electric-type Pokemon are also able to learn Light Screen and Reflect in the same way. However, the fact that Alolan Raichu is, to this day, the only electric psychic-type Pokemon, that says to me that the whole Pikachu line always did have greater psychic potential than other electric types. And so, I guess there you have it. Alolan Raichu is just more Raichill than its non-Alolan cousins, which is also quite fitting, considering the much more relaxed nature of Hawaiian culture compared to Japanese work culture. Oh man. So, what do you think? Is all of this a more sound idea than just pancakes? Or is it perhaps a combination of the two factors? Let me know down below what you think, and until next time, never stop using your pancakes!